Hey guys, it's Hand of Justice, and I'm back. It's been a while, but yeah, excited to start playing with some of the new cards, and just started up again on ladder for best of one in standard, and kind of settled on the Lifegain deck. So this is my version of it. I think there's probably a lot of other versions floating around. You could probably check like MTG Goldfish, but this is kind of what I settled on, and the basic idea is just to make some huge guys swing in for the win. It's pretty straightforward. You're just gaining a bunch of life. Every card in the deck helps you gain life or benefits from gaining life. So just a real quick overview. And this is without a sideboard, so I haven't built a sideboard for best of three at this point. We're just looking at best of one. We have 27 creatures. Average mana cost is 1.9. And nine non-creature spells, 24 land, 2 instants, 7 enchantments. So this is kind of the overview. For the top end, we're looking at 3 copies of Leyline of Hope. I ran a deck with 4 of these, and I just kind of felt a little bit clunky. There were enough hands where you were drawing 2, where it just felt like 3 was a better fit. So this is an enchantment for 2 white and 2 other, and if this is in your opening hand, you may begin with it. You may begin the game with it on the battlefield. And so whenever you would gain life, you gain that much life plus 1 instead. And then as long as you have at least 7 or more life than your starting total, creatures you control get +2/+2. So this is a nice way to kind of buff everything up. Gives you a little bit of acceleration if you have it in your opening hand. Yeah, feels pretty good with 3 copies. I have 1 copy of Exemplar of Light, and I know some of the other versions of this deck are probably running more, but I'm trying to build kind of a sort of lower to the ground, slightly faster version of this deck. This card is very powerful though. 2 white and 2 other. It's an angel. It is a 3/3 flyer, and whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on this creature, you draw a card. This ability triggers only once per turn. So very powerful. Not only does it get bigger, but it also helps you draw cards. So nice kind of end game. And then for the 3 drops, we have 3 copies of Linden, the Steadfast Queen, a legendary creature, human noble, 3/3 vigilance. Whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain 1 life. So this is a really nice play. Just to drop after you have some kind of other creatures that are going to be gaining counters, and then every creature that you attack with gains you a life, which triggers a bunch of counters, and it's just great. Yeah, so 3 white. It is pretty heavy white requirement, so you do want to fit this into a mono white deck. Then 2 copies of Haliya, Guided by Light, and I'm kind of thinking of maybe going up to 3 copies and possibly cutting the Exemplar of Light just to try to lower the curve a little bit here, but I could see kind of going either way. So Haliya, Guided by Light is a legendary creature, human soldier, 1 white and 2 other, and a 3/3. And then whenever Haliya or another creature or artifact you control enters, you gain 1 life. And then at the beginning of your end step, draw a card if you've gained 3 or more life this turn. It also has the warp mechanic, so for 1 white, you can cast this, and then at the end of the turn or the beginning of the next end step, you basically exile it, and then you can replay it later for the full mana cost. So it's a nice way to kind of get some early buffs there with the ability to potentially draw an extra card and then gain some extra life. So I think 3 copies would be pretty good. Right now I don't have the cards yet to get another one, but sort of working towards that. For the 2 drops, we have 4 copies of Ajani's Pridemate, which is 1 white and 1 other is a 2/2. It's a creature, cat, soldier. And then whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So very straightforward, just gets huge every time that you trigger life gain. Then we also have 4 copies of Essence Channeler, which is also 1 white and 1 other. It's a bat cleric for a 2/1. It also has the clause, as long as you've lost life this turn, this creature has flying and vigilance. So this is a slight nod to, maybe include some pain land perhaps to help trigger this ability. It's also nice in like a black-white deck where you're able to lose life and gain life. And then the next line of text here, whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, and then when this creature dies, put its counters on target creature you control. So this thing also gets huge, but when it dies, you can then move the counters to the creature. Then 4 copies of Sheltered by Ghosts, kind of the premium removal that we have here in this deck. In addition, it also helps you gain more life. So it's 1 white, 1 other. It's an enchantment aura. Enchant creature you control. When this aura enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this aura leaves the battlefield. So it can target any non-land permanent, which is great. And then enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has lifelink and ward 2. So pretty much your catch-all, remove any major threat. For the 1-drops, we have 4 copies of Healer's Hawk, 1 white, which is a 1/1 bird flying lifelink. Just very straightforward, just kind of an enabler to help start gaining life and then buff all the rest of our creatures. 4 copies of Hinterland Sanctifier, 1 white, which is a rabbit cleric, 1/2. Whenever another creature control enters, you gain 1 life. So another way to kind of gain some life. 2 copies of Restoration Magic. This is something I'm trying out here. It's 1 white as an instant, and it's tiered, so you can pay either just 1 white, or 1 white and 1 other, or 1 white and then actually 2 white and 3 other for the full effect. So for the first level, you just have target permanent gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. And then for level 2, you can pay 1 white and 1 other for target permanent gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, and you gain 3 life. And then for the final version, you can pay 2 white and 3 other, and permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, and you gain 6 life. So part of the reason it's here is because it does technically gain you life. It's also a way to kind of protect some of our bigger creatures, and it's kind of an endgame protection against board wipes like Wrath of God or other board wipe effects. So just trying it out as a 2 of. 4 copies of Ruin-Lurker Bat, which is 1 white for a 1/1 bat flying lifelink. And then at the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, scry 1. And descend is every time a permanent is put into your graveyard from anywhere, that descends, and then at the end of your turn, you'll be able to scry 1. Another a nice enabler here. And then 1 copy of Zora Spider Fancier, which is basically the 5th copy of Hinterland Sanctifier. It's 1 white for a 0/2 human citizen as a legendary creature. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. And then if it's a spider, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So no spiders in the deck, but just another way to gain life. For the land, we have 3 copies of Dalkovan Encampment, which I've been pretty happy with. And I kind of like 3 copies because it does come into play tapped since we don't run swamps or mountains. But it's a nice way to create attacking creatures, which is another way to trigger gaining a bunch of life with all of our Sanctifiers and Fanciers, not to mention Linden. So, although actually I think it triggers after Linden triggers, so it might not benefit from Linden, but it's a nice way to kind of get some extra value out of our land and then also trigger more life gain. And then 2 copies of Adventurer's Inn, which is just colorless land, and when it enters, you gain 2 life. So pretty straightforward. Just 2 copies because we are pretty white heavy, especially with 3 copies of Linden, so we want to be able to hit this relatively on time. And then 19 planes, so a total of 24 lands. That's basically the deck, and let's go ahead and jump into some games. I think right now I just hit gold 1. I just started playing today, so went all the way up from bronze to gold, or sorry, gold 4, I want to say. But yeah, it seems like a pretty powerful deck. There are definitely really tough matchups, but I think against like mono red, which has a pretty big market share of the meta right now, it seems like it does pretty well. Okay, any 2 or 3 lander we're pretty much going to keep. Okay, and it is mono red, or at least a mountain. So here the question is, do we lead off with Healer's Hawk or Sanctifier? And I think it's, you know, one kind of helps get in more damage. This is a little bit tankier with the extra toughness. I could see going either way here. I think Healer's Hawk is sort of a, if they have like the turn 1 Burst Lightning, is a better card to lose. So maybe I'll start with Healer's Hawk just in case they've got the burn. Kind of smoke it out a little bit. Okay, we do have 2 Dalkovan Encampments, which do come into play tapped. So we could consider playing Encampment here and then a Sanctifier, which I like. We could also go Pridemate and make this into a 3/3. They do run Lightning Strike, though, so I feel a little better about getting a Sanctifier going. And it kind of helps the land situation a little bit as well. Okay, now we basically never want to block Screaming Nemesis because gaining life is what this whole deck does. So never blocking this unless we're like in threat of losing. And if they're smart, they probably use their own burn on it. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Okay, so we can play another encampment here and then just get Pridemate going. We could also use Sheltered by Ghost to get rid of Nemesis, but because they have enough mana, they would be able to take out our creature. So we'd rather get the Pridemate first, get it up to a 4 toughness, and then put the Sheltered by Ghosts on it. Never blocking with Sanctifier, so attacking with both here. Yeah, and we're at 16, definitely not blocking. They could have all kinds of pumper damage. We're just not going to chance it. And then next turn we can double Sheltered by Ghosts, and that's going to probably lock it up if we can get it off without them killing our Pridemate. Yeah, and they're going for the play right now to turn off Lifegain, which makes sense. Okay, so we are definitely racing. No more Lifegain, but we do have double Sheltered by Ghost, which is pretty good. And I think we want to put it on the Pridemate just because it is going to be the biggest creature. So let's get that going. This will also make it untargetable, essentially. They won't be able to pay for Burst Lightning. But if they have a nice draw, they could potentially... I guess I don't know what they have. They can do 6 from nothing. Okay, Linden would be great, except we can't gain life, so that's not that amazing anymore. If we encampment and push, they are forced to block Pridemate, I think. Actually, I suppose they could go to 1. So if they don't block here and then just block like this and one of the 1/1s, they go to 1 and kill us. So okay, so maybe it's better to go like Warp with Haliya. Although again, we're not going to gain any. We're not going to draw any cards here. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. I think I'll just warp this out. I don't think we draw any cards because we can't gain life. So mostly this is just to kind of do it. And then we'll play Linden. Again, it's not going to trigger here because we can't gain life. So I think we're just going to push with our Healer's Hawk and the Pridemate. Yeah, that is unfortunate. Okay, so we're trading 2 guys for 2 guys. Oh, it's a beating. I forgot that they could use Hired Claw on our turn there. So that might do it here. We're going to drop to 3. So if they just attack, okay, I guess they're going all in, sure. I think we block like this and like this. This is functionally a 3/3 because it's going to do 1 damage to us on our draw step. So I think we block like that. Okay. Is it better to play Haliya or get some 1/1s? I think it's better to play Haliya here. It's close. So they have anything there and anything on the top. Yeah, that's going to do it. All right. Yeah, so in hindsight, maybe better not to attack with a 6/4. Although we had to kind of push damage. I guess keep it back and then attack in the air would have been better. This hand looks good. Okay, and we get to start with one of our Leylines in play, which is great. We have 2 basics and Dalkovan, so I think I'm just going to go basic, so we can go like Sanctifier into Pridemate. I guess same kind of question, is it better to have like Lurker Bat out or Sanctifier? I think Sanctifier is a little bit more valuable, so I'll go with Lurker Bat. We could go double Sanctifier here and then just have like a huge Pridemate. That's actually probably better. Yeah, because I guess we would gain like 1 life from it next turn. So I could see kind of going either way. I think it might be about the same. But now we get like Leyline going. So yeah, we'll definitely get powered up by Leyline, which is going to be great. And now we can push for 9. And hopefully end the game real quick. Yeah, I don't think Steam Core Scholar is going to do it. Yeah. Okay, 1-1. Okay, hand looks great. We've got mana, stuff to do. Can lead out here with Healer's Hawk, and then next turn go for Pridemate. And then we'll save Adventures in for turn 3 so we can have it affect one of the Pridemates. Swing and a whiff. The nice thing is we don't have too many non-creature spells. Alright, so it planes into Pridemate. And then next turn we can go Haliya Warp, and then Pridemate. Ooh, Linden is pretty good too. This is actually pretty great. I don't know. Yeah, this is interesting. I kind of want to do these two, and then like Linden for the super big attack the turn after. I guess we'll just do it this way. So I think we want to warp this before playing the Adventurers in. Yeah, this feels pretty good. And draw a card. Yeah, that feels great. Oh, so he must be like black-white Lifegain? I mean, that's okay, but okay. Surprised he didn't go for the 7/7. I guess he wanted to like get in and get the card and whatever. But I think that's... Yeah, unfortunately we don't have the triple white for Linden, so Sheltered by Ghost is going to have to be good enough, which is fine. So we can Sheltered by Ghost his Sheltered by Ghost. And push for a lot. And then next turn we can go for Linden or just Leyline. Doesn't really matter. I think Linden will be better. But if like we're worried about like board wipe, I guess we could go Leyline. Okay, I guess that's just going to do it. So if we go Linden, That's 7. Eight. Doesn't quite get there. Leyline might be the slightly safer play, just because in case he has board wipe. I think I'm going to go Leyline here. It's about the same, just because we don't. If we could kill him, obviously we would just do Linden instead, but this way we get him to 1. I think he would have been at 2 otherwise. Yeah, okay, so he had the board wipe. Glad we kept it. I guess now we can go like Sanctifier plus Haliya. So we do Haliya first. So we can draw a card. Yeah, that's gonna do it. Okay, 2 and 1. I think we'll do 5 games total. So I'm glad we played around the board wipe. You don't usually see them out of like mid-rangey decks that are trying to put stuff on the table, but you never know. Okay, hand looks good. It's a nice 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is that blue-white bounce deck. So I think it has like the, God, I can't remember the name of the new guy, that the 2/4 for 3 mana that does a bunch of nonsense. Okay, that's pretty good. Can still get in for 0 and gain a life. Okay, this deck actually I have not seen before. That's really nice. Having protection for Linden feels pretty good. Let's get Encampment going. And start working on the life total here. Okay, so we can go Cura, so level 2, gain some life while we're at it. And I think there's enough targets for that spell in this deck that it feels worth it to keep it. Especially like against a deck like this that's just going to try to just go 1 for 1 with you. Yeah, this one's all about bouncing and canning, drawing infinite cards, and it's a pretty good deck. We don't really have... I think we're going to hold the adventures in here just in case we draw like a target that benefits from it. So we can go encampment. And at least get in for a little bit. But yeah, he's definitely outvaluing us here. Okay, I think I did see this deck. It has like, yeah, weapons manufacturing to start making like mines and things like that. And then drawing a billion cards. Just getting flooded. Yeah, I really like the encampment here. I think 3 is probably right. 4 might be too many, just because it is a tap land in this deck. But at least having a little bit more value out of the lands feels pretty good. Okay, we are really just getting super flooded. Oh wow, yeah, I didn't even read the extruder here. Just makes a 3/3. That's really good. Well, we're ahead on life, but I think we might be out of this one. Just outvalued us too much. And Haliya is great in this deck, because I guess it gains life from artifacts also. Don't think we can come back from this level of... Yeah, I think I'm just gonna... We are at 30, but I don't think we can draw out of this, unfortunately. Two and two. Okay, a little bit land light, and we do have one colorless here, but I think it's still worth keeping. It's a pretty strong hand. And I think I'm just gonna lead out with the Lurker Bat. I suppose there's like a chance that like they play like a flyer, but I think I'm still gonna go Lurker Bat here. Just because I think the Sanctifiers are slightly more valuable. And we'll start getting the channelers going. Because we have another creature, I'm going to play Channeler here over Pridemate. Pridemate has the extra point of toughness, but this will start getting counters. Okay, so this is the Tifa Lockhart deck, I'm pretty sure. Traveling Chocobo. Okay, so you can just play land off the top. Or birds. I think we just go for another channeler here. Like, we could go Sheltered by Ghost, but I kind of want to save that for Tifa, because that's like the kill mechanism. And I'm happy to trade here if they want to trade. I guess we could probably use Sheltered by Ghost on the Hydra. At least it doesn't have haste. I think I have to put this, unfortunately, on the Lurker Bat because the Chocobo can block either one of these functionally. So it's not ideal, but we won't get the extra trigger. But this will at least keep it away from the Chocobo. Yeah, that's going to do it. All right, 3 and 2, so not too bad. Definitely enjoying this deck quite a bit. I think I just need like more practice just playing against the field, seeing what's out there. But any changes that I would make to the deck? I think right now I want a 3rd copy of Haliya. And yeah, I kind of feel like I want to cut the Exemplar, get the Haliya going. Just maybe we can potentially shave a land or so and free up some room. 24 feels pretty good. I like the land split. I think 3 Dalkovan Encampments feels pretty good right now. And yeah, the Adventurer's Inns are fine. So I think that's probably the only change I'd make, at least right now. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.